Greetings and welcome to One Spiritual Love, Spirituality in a Modern World, presented by Unispiritual Muse. Typically, I would do one sermon session per podcast, YouTube, whatever, social media. This time I'm going to do trilogy. So I'm doing a 3-for-1 sermon sessions. So there's 3. So basically, when I cater to my life, I cater to a client, patient, to their needs, specifically what they need. When you are consuming the 4 quadrants in nutrition, number 2 is food nutrition. You are consuming specifically, when you know the adequacy in nutrition is you eat what the body wants, not what the ego needs. Then you eat for health food first, taste second. That's how it works. Now, when it comes to food nutrition, it's minerals first, vitamins second, everything else is third. So for the first sermon session, we have what I typically cook according to my medical issues. I have anywhere between 6 to 8 veggies with 40 herbs plus minerals. So right now, my pot with water, it's 3 quarts of water with all my little goodies in there doing its thing while I'm doing this thing. And for veggies, we have bok choy, okra, asparagus, beets, red onions, corn, squash, and for a little bit of spice, you can pop in some curry or garam masala. I don't use chili powder. I stopped eating meat many years ago because my body is basically allergic. I cannot eat any type of meat, and eating man-made products, my body will regurgitate and I will physically get sick. Don't care if it's grass-fed, whatever. They had to pretty much stop my chemo cancer treatments simply because my creatine was too high. My creatine's too high, meaning I have too much protein in my blood, which then pulls out the magnesium, the potassium, the sodium. My white blood count went too low. My immune system went too low. Voila, there you go. It's havoc in my world. Now, this happened again just recently, a few years later. And this is why you can keep testing the waters when it comes to food nutrition, but lo and behold, you're going to keep getting the same thing. Now, since 1991, I've been scanning all the documents of my life, basically because it's called planning, all right? Now, for the food nutrition, to me, garbage is anything that's man-made. If it's plant-made, then it's natural, it's good for you. If it's man-made, it's garbage. Your body has to learn how to process that. Your mind has to learn how to process that. Your emotions have to learn how to process that. All right? So for garbage, for me, once a week would be meat or anything processed to have a little bit of fun with my food. Now, what I did was today I got spinach and artichoke dip. Oh, it's a little piece of heaven right there, all right? That I can only have once a week. So 6 days a week, it's pure plant-based foods. 1 day a week, I then eat garbage like that. So today I spent like $80 at the grocery store, and of course that's a month of food. And typically it's anywhere around $25 to $30 a week for how I eat. And then, like I said, I just got, over 50 ingredients in one meal that I cook, and it's for 5 days a week, okay? Grocery shop once every 6 months, and cook once a week. That's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and any snacks. You have 3 different snacks in between the meals. For male, you must eat 3 servings of fruit a day. Female are 5 servings of fruit a day. Teenager is 6 serving fruits a day. There are certain adequate amounts of minerals, vitamins, and everything else that your body absolutely needs to function correctly. Now, I finally got a gallon of apple cider vinegar. Now, apple cider vinegar technically thins out your blood, brings down your high blood pressure, all right? Now, my ex, he had 750 in his triglycerides. That is a form of cholesterol. I made him drink the apple cider vinegar every day. I don't remember, a few years back, 2-3 times a day, I forget. But it brought it down to 150. That's the adequate. After we divorced, it went up to 7,500. It was way off the chart. He then passed out. They took him to the, rehab place, and he was there in a coma for 4 months. All right? They sliced him open. So I'm just saying, apple cider vinegar has been around. The Egyptians have been using it for over 5,000 years. All right? Straight up, easy peasy, folks. So what I do is I put all of my foods, I do not keep my food in plastic. I do not keep it in, it comes in a paper good. Throw that stuff away. Do not have metal. Everything is in mason jars. So my apple cider vinegar is in a mason jar. When I cook with a 3 to 5 gallon water once a week, I'm adding, 3 tablespoons, because you want trace minerals, right? So then when you're cooking with your 50 ingredients, you're going to add it to your staple. Your staple is your dry good. Your dry good is your beans, rice, pasta. Now, you can have your fiber of the different type of wheat, different types of grains, all right? Now, the thing is that everything is in moderation. So, I will have enough for the week, such as, I discovered this at the store today. This is a fully cooked al dente, all right, pasta. Okay, so we're going to check this out, right? So al dente means it's half cooked, because say if you cook something typically for 1 to 2 minutes, that's like in meat, that would be rare. And then you want medium done, is in the middle. That would be your anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes on your pasta. The same as well done would be 5 to 7 minutes on your pasta. So it all regulates by time. So with this, it's already pre-cooked. It says al dente. That means it's just barely cooked. All right. So my pot with all my little goodies in it, my 50 ingredients, I will then pop this puppy in here. And then I will have my staple for the week. All right. Now, that is the... I don't really label my recipes. Because I add the veggies, I change it up every week. The herbs are the same, the minerals are the same, the veggies are different, anywhere between 6 to 8 vegetables in every meal, depending upon what I need with my medical conditions. All right? Now, that is one. That is the recipe for this week. That is number 29 in the week of 2024. Now for the second sermon session is planning. And here we go. Greetings and welcome to One Spherical Love, Spirituality in a Modern World. Presented by Unispherical Muse LLC. It's amazing how many people truly believe that what they're doing in life is the best thing for them. I always say what you can't see can hurt you more than what you can see. That pertains to viruses and bacteria that create illness, sickness, and disease. And when people truly understand man-made concepts, policies and procedures, rules and regulations through government and religion are merely psychosomatic brainwashing. When you truly understand, you think you live in wishful thinking utopia. That is in your mind only. You have not reached the level of universal consciousness and cosmic consciousness. You are at still a lower level mentality because you really have chosen not to see the truth. You prefer to live in lies. Now, it bewilders me that people really don't like karma. The more you don't like something, the more you will receive of it. So that's why you learn to love your hate. And then you will receive the loves you deserve. Now, it has come to my attention recently that I've always been the type of person, there's a problem, take care of it. This way, if you procrastinate, it'll keep coming back again and again and again. Who has time for that same old song and dance? I have other things in life, places to go, people to see, and things to do. I'm busy. I don't have time to play the same old song and dance. But yet people have a tendency to do that. Why? Then you're creating a mountain out of a molehill. Why? How does that make any sense whatsoever? Just take care of it, get it out of the way, and move on. There's other things to do in life. It's called laughter, fun. And people forget what that is. And that's why they don't like karma. Because when you grow up and you forget about the fun, and you're all up in the serious, well, it will just keep coming back and smack you in the face. It's called karma. Now, when people have problems, I'm like, well, I don't need that crap, so I just take care of it right away and move on, and other things to conquer. And it's funny that as an anthropologist, you are the observer. You document your findings while you're in another culture, everything. Their textiles, their singing, their rituals, everything you document. The key factor is being the observee, watching yourself observing a person, place, or thing. So this way you're getting the left and right hemisphere of the human brain to create the portals in order to open the human mind. You have to remember, everything is a particle. It is a chemical compound of what you are creating. So once you've opened that portal, then you've opened your human mind, and then you can begin to see through as an observee instead of an observer. That is the key particle. That is why the 3D third dimension is the answers. That is the key. The doors are the human mind that are the answers. You have to go from the key to the door, which means you have to make a traveling path, which means that is the middle part. You have to go in between the between to get to the core. What is the core? The core is the door. See how simple that is? You have a key, but how are you going to open up and initiate yourself to move to the door? That is the path traveled. 1 + 2 = 3. 1, knowing what you want. 2 is path travel. 3 is the end result. How hard is that? You need to have that middle particle. So when I see a problem, I find the solution. That is the path traveled. And then I go take care of the solution. Done deal. Moving on. Been there, done that. Next. So as you keep doing this stuff, it's like, dude, there's straight up logic, not rocket science. So karma is when you're from 1 to 3, that path travel, you are, you're, Mr. Negativity, Ms. Negativity, and then you're going to get it back after you open that door. That's called karma. And karma happens every second of your life. Not in your past life, not in your future life. Every second of your life right now. So, people have a tendency to use universal law, and they really don't realize what they're doing. They do, but they're just being ignorant. When you don't know truly, you are innocent, and that's under the age of 6. After that, you're now in the land of ignorant, because you know better, but yet you choose to do the opposite. So, when I say something, and people then start laughing and judging, and they call it crazy, well, really? And then when I explain exactly really what it truly means, then they get this dumb look on their face like a deer with headlights coming. It's like, dude, how do you not see the obvious? Why do I have to spell it out for you? Are you still in kindergarten? You're allowed to color outside the lines. You're allowed to mentally get out of kindergarten, okay? And get with the program called life. Now, I tell someone something the other day, and they're laughing, and they call it crazy. And then I say something else, and then they call the boss and say I have an attitude problem. Because as they're talking, I'm walking away. And I had to figure out, what are they talking about? Then when I finally figured out, he told the boss I have an attitude problem. Like, what are you talking about? Finally, I figured it out. Okay, got it. So the next time I saw him, I said, look it. I am quick-witted. Basically, years ago, one coworker told the boss that she doesn't let grass grow under her feet. That means I already know what you're going to say before you finish saying it, so I go and take care of it. And then I say something else, and then he laughs and calls it crazy. Okay. All right. Finally, I'm putting the puzzle pieces together. That is the middle path. Like I said, that's number 2. 1 + 2 = 3. That is the path. So I thought, okay, here we go. So then I came in and said, the blueprint schematics on the fields are not designed for, you know it, ramps. It's designed for curbs, and that is how you get the mower up there to mow the field. Because they used to say that I was jumping curbs. And I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? So then I had to tell him. He then looks at me with a deer with the headlights in his face because he had no comeback. Well, dude, what is your issue with life that you're going to go and judge someone else because merely you're judging your own inadequacies? So then you bring stupid in my face, I give you stupid right back. Don't judge. You're creating karma. Why are you creating karma that's creating your own sickness, illness, disease? Lo and behold, and then you have a problem in life, which means you have an issue with life. Because you just created it. Why would you do that to yourself? How does that make any sense whatsoever? So then I tell another coworker, dude, don't be putting stupid in my face. I'll give it right back. That's called the boomerang. Then they go and tell the boss, and then it goes higher up. And it's like, are you kidding me? How many egos and cojones did I just step on? Who didn't I piss off today because you think that you're smart and you're going to throw judgment at me? I'm going to throw it right back. I am the boomerang. And people think that the boomerang, the karma, is in another life. No, sweetheart, it is right here in this moment and now. So don't judge me, because I will give it right back, and people don't like it. Well, then stop doing it. Stop acting like an emotionally immature child in an adult body and act like an adult. Become emotionally mature, and then you stop judging a person, place, or thing, because that's called universal law. Judging is a deadly sin. Why are you creating your own deadly sin through illness, sickness, and disease? Do you see how this works? It's logic, not rocket science. So next time you go to judge something, a person, place, or thing, check yourself at the door. Check your hormones. Your hormones are your emotions. What level of emotions are you on before you make a judgment call? That's how it works. And people don't like it. Don't throw it in my face or I'll throw it right back. I'm not some, doormat, sand pile you can just throw crap at. No, baby cakes. I give it right back. It's amazing how many people think that it's okay to do that. And what evil spirit possessed them to start judging in the first place? Where did that come from? You have a root, and you have a root core. What is the root core of your judgment call? Pay attention to what you're doing, saying, seeing, smelling, thinking, etc., etc. Think about it, because actions speak louder than words. Think about it first. Contemplate your plan before you make an action. 1 + 2 = 3. 1, knowing what you want. 2 is path travel. 3 is the end result. Think about your end result. What are you creating before you create it? Called planning. In my 20s, I wanted a government job. In my 30s, I wanted to be a gang war. In my 40s, I wanted to live in an RV. In my 20s, I bought over 5 acres of land because I needed a place to live in my 60s. Then I am going to have my winter home after I retire, because all I have to do is put in a septic tank and a well, and then I just pull my RV over to that land. Voila. I then have over 5 acres of land. That is my summer home. And then I will move to another state after I retire, and then I will get unincorporated land, and then I will purchase 2 acres of land, put in a septic tank and a well. Voila, there's my summer home. And then I will just pull my RV over there. Hello, I got my summer home and my winter home. And then all I'm going to do is just purchase a new truck with cash before I retire. I started planning when I was in my 20s. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 1, knowing what you want. 2 is path travel. 3 is end result. How hard is that? It's called planning. Now, I've scanned all my documents, taxes, military, medical, everything of my whole life for 30 years. And then what I do is I put on a flash drive so that when time comes, my son just takes the flash drive, pops it in the computer, gets the documents, get the account numbers, then you get the death certificate, then you go to the bank, and then you make the withdrawals, and then there you go. What is so hard about that? It's called planning. And I planned it starting in my 20s because I knew where I was going to be when I got older. It's called planning, folks. How hard is that? That's logic. Now, I planned out my whole life, and that's why when you're, say, trimming a bush, sure, it takes 5 minutes to trim that bush. It takes 15 minutes for cleanup. That is the path traveled. 1, trim the bush. 2, path travel, 15 minutes cleanup. 3, end result, the bush looks good, you got cleanup done. How hard is that? It's called logic. If you don't know, go back to school, learn some planning. I am a certified financial planner, among many other things. I have 2 doctorate degrees, 6 college degrees. I have a Ph.D. I'm working on my 3rd Ph.D. because there are certain things that I need in my life to accomplish what I wanted. Why did I want a government job? So I could do what I needed to do. That's why. Everything happens in life. You receive experiences in order to help you plan to grow in personal growth. It's not hard. It's easy. You just have to learn how to start planning. That is the problem. Most people don't know how to plan. Well, this is why I'm going to be having the classes and the workshops to teach people how to plan. Do you go to college just to learn something, a career? No. You go to college to learn about yourself, what you like and what you don't like, for Pete's sake. Why would you go through 4 to 8 to 10 years of college to decide that when you get out, you're burnt out, you don't want to do it? No, you don't like it. So that's why you go to college, to figure out what you like and what you don't like, for Pete's sake. Is it set in stone? No, it's temporary. Everything in life is temporary. So stop thinking everything is permanent. Even a rock is not permanent. Concrete's not permanent. There are chemical compounds. You break the chemical compounds down, voila. You then have a molecule. What is a molecule? A molecule is squishy. You can step on it with your shoe, for Pete's sake. So stop thinking that everything is solid chemical compounds. It's not. You have to understand how the planning creates the core. And the core is a much more spiritual, solid foundation. That's how it works. That's called life. Now, start your planning today so you can get out of assuming through judging, creating your own inadequacies through sickness, illness, disease. That's how it works. I already know how it works. You can get a lot of books, but there is no book handed to you when you are born. This is your book called life. I figured it all out many years ago. And how other people don't see this bewilders my mind. They make no sense whatsoever. How they have not figured this out yet. Now, start your planning today. That is your sermon session for today. Did you take notes? Because technically in college they tell you take your notes. When you get out, read your notes for 15 minutes so you know exactly what's going on. So when we refer to it later, hours, days, weeks, whatever later, you know exactly what was going on because your memory cannot last for weeks at a time. That's logic. It's not hard to understand. Do your planning. Plan it now. Because later you will have regrets, and then you will be mad, and you have no one to blame but yourself. Because you just created judgment. You then learning to judge yourself. So I'm finding that when I do karma, people don't realize it. Well, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I need to stop them in their tracks. Don't be judging me, dude. I will give it right back to you, dudette. Stop it and behave yourself and become an adult. Become emotionally mature. Emotionally mature? Hello? What level of aura and chakra are you on? You're 22. Let's just keep going. There are technically 28 chakras. Okay? And you know Ayurveda comes from the Hindu scriptures, holy scriptures. In India, the 4 Vedas. Alright? Learn where information comes from before you regurgitate what you think you know instead of what you really do know. That is called karma. Where does it come from? The Holy Scriptures in India. Understand what it is that you're speaking of because you are creating the root cause from the root core. Pay attention. Start your planning. And then when people give you back your karma, then you can put the particle pieces together and understand why it's happening. When bad things happen to me, I would just look up at the sky and say, how did I get so lucky? Good, bad, and otherwise are all blessings to grow in personal growth. All right? Start your planning now. It doesn't take long. You have enough technology at your fingertips. Get busy. Most people would rather pay time, money, energy, someone else to tell them how to live their life because they don't plan. That's why it's expensive to go to a convenience store instead of doing it themselves. Because they like creating their karma. They just don't realize it. If you read all that stuff at the convenience store, it makes you sick and creates ill health, sickness, and disease. Well, do you want to pay through time, money, and energy? What do you want to pay for convenience in sickness, illness, disease? Pretty simple stuff. I'm keeping my pennies in my pockets. I feel no need to waste time, money, and energy on doctors' prescriptions and hospitals. When I am a DIY kind of gal, I take care of it myself through planning and then activation of the planning. Root cause, root core. That's how it works. It's all about the root. The tree root creates the tree. The plant root creates the plant. What is a seed? A seed is a root. What is a baby? Comes from a seed. Every life form is a seed. That seed has a plan. That's why you are a seed, and you must create your plan. It's not hard. It's logic, not rocket science. And life is love. Love is life. Blessing from Reverend Lewis. You like my content? Please like, share, and subscribe. I thank you for your support. Greetings and welcome to One Sparkle of Spirituality in a Modern World, presented by Unisparkle Muse, LLC. It's a typical Saturday in a typical Southwest town that wants to be a city, that wants to be a metropolis, Batman. So it is 7/20/24, and everybody loves numbers, alright? So it's 6:15 a.m. Numbers are just particles in the equation. Now, someone mentioned to me once, you are ingenious. I'm like, okay, so you know me, I have to Google this stuff, or whatever you use. Ingenious definition: having or showing an unusual aptitude for discovering, inventing, marked by originality, resourcefulness, and cleverness in conception. Well, there you go. And the definition of genius is a very high level of intelligence, mental skill, or ability. So there you go. You got the affirmation of the definition. Now, my mother always had medical conditions, because when she was born as a preemie and could put her in a shoebox. So with the medical conditions as a child, you must adapt to someone that has medical conditions. That is straight up respect. When you disrespect, you're creating your own karma. Why would you do that to yourself? So you respect because it's in your heart, because you are human. You are not a robot. Even though you've been trained, subliminal brainwashing, trained to be a robot, but you are still human. Human are activated by the heart. The heart is the emotion. Now, with this adaptability, we all know that Geminis are human chameleons, okay? We play mental gymnastics, simply meaning these are your particle pieces. You have a medical condition. The end result is how to adapt to that medical condition. What do you do to put together to create adaptation? That is a human chameleon, all right? That is ingenious. It's not rocket science, it's logic. Life is a puzzle. You must put the puzzle pieces together. The pieces are particles. It's not rocket science. Everybody thinks it's so hard. It's so freaking simple. Life is easy if you let it. Hard if you make it. It's hard if you make it because you think too much. No, it's called planning. So you see this your end result. You must do this to get there. It's kind of like you're planning it out before you even write it down. That's why, in the end, actions speak louder than words. So in order to calculate mathematically, you do this thing. This is your end result. So it's 1 + 2 = 3. 2 × 2 = 4. You see, it's all a mathematical equation. It's no hard. Now, when you look at the behavioral patterns, because you are the observer, then you begin to see the behavioral patterns in a plant, a person, a molecule, an octopus. I mean, the list goes on and on. You get to know the behavioral patterns. And when you do, then you can start to figure out, okay, for adaptability, to help in this, how shall I help? Because either you're helping or hurting yourself or someone else. It's always that way. Good, bad, and otherwise, okay? How do you do this? Well, you plan by colors. When you know the auras and the chakras from the holy scriptures in India, it's only been around for thousands of years. It's not new. It's not new age. Don't give me that crap. It's old school, baby. Get with the program, okay? It's been around for thousands of years. Now, the colors relate to, hello, the auras, which is the emotion. Hello, what are the colors? Red is anger. Learn, for Pete's sake. Pick up a book. And it's like I say certain things to certain people, and they've never heard about it in their life. What, were you living under a rock all your life? Seriously. You have to understand that everything is related to color. And that is my hand tapping the table to pay attention. Everything is related to color. The colors are in the rainbow. The rainbow is the correlation to your emotion. It's easy peasy piece of cake. Now, when you see the color, you have done your studies and you've done your research and you know exactly what that is. Red is anger. Blue is communication. That is the throat chakra. Okay? Learn your colors. Now, the first chakra is red, which is anger, depression, sadness. That's how people want to commit suicide, because they're hanging out in the lower half of themselves. That is the id, the ego, the superego, and Sigmund Freud's Psychology 101 Freudian theory. I just got it. These freaking mosquitoes are alive in my place. I'm telling you, it's amazing. They just keep coming. Yeah, every time the snow caps melt on the mountains, it brings up the sea levels, and then lately they've been saying in the news certain cactus they're dying because the sea levels are coming up because there's too much moisture. It's not rocket science, it's logic. Too much, too little is not good. When the sea levels rise, too much moisture, same as expansion and contraction. You gotta understand quantum physics. Same as your front door. It is wood. Let's just say it's wood, right? Expansion and contraction. That's because it's cold and hot. Too much dryness, too much moisture. Hello? There is a brain up there you do have. You just need to learn how to activate it. Human brain to a human mind. So if you got the expansion and contraction, what does this mean? That means the same thing as assets and liabilities. You're in your finances. Liabilities are minus red. Assets are your accumulation of your material goods, and your assets are a plus, which is good. Your bank account is money, which is money. A piece of paper is just merely energy. To you, it's important. Voila, it's a plus in your bank account as a color blue. Everything is color. How do you not see the obvious? It's in front of your face. It's plain as the nose on your face. It's obvious. And when you have to explain obvious to people, it's kind of like when you have to explain a joke to someone, it takes away the funny, which then creates a mood killer. Really? There are so many mood killers exist on Earth. It's extremely quite sad that people still have a closed mind. A closed mind is a terrible thing to waste. Now, do you see how you go from ingenious to genius to a closed mind? Do you see the beginning? What do you want? What is the path traveled? How do you get there? What do you want? Number one. How do you get there? Number two. What is the end result? Number three. 1 + 2 = 3. What are the colors of the numbers? You see how much fun this is when you're not so serious in life? We've got to learn to lighten up and see beauty for what it is. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Life is a blessing. Life is beautiful because you are just presented in your face, as plain as the nose on your face, in your face. And number one, you now have an object, which is a concept of how do you create that on a number two in order to get what you want. Number three, I'm 20 and I wanted a government job. Sure, it took a few years, but it finally came because it's called persistence. It's called patience with yourself. Don't get aggravated with yourself. Don't get aggravated with others, person, place, or thing, simply because you are creating your karma. Why would you do that to yourself? Stop it. Patience and persistence. You see a brick wall. It's a hologram, for Pete's sake. There's no dinosaur there. Get out of caveman, cavewoman, cave person way of thinking. Step out of that and open your mind. You're allowed to color outside the lines. You're not in kindergarten anymore. Step out of that mentality. Now, something was just presented to you. And you're like, oh my God, this thing is giving me a heart attack or what? Are you serious? Really? Chill yourself. It's presented to you for a reason. What is the reason? To grow in personal growth. What do? You go from ingenious to genius. All right, and that's a clap on my hand. What about the person that first thought about, let me make a safety pin? because it couldn't keep something together like a diaper? Of course, you tell other people, they're going to call it crazy. Okay. And I'm pretty sure if you research, the person that invented the safety pin probably made $1 million, if not more. Why? From ingenious to genius. That's how it works. Go from the human brain to the human mind. That's how it works. It's not hard. When you focus, patience and persistence. You've got a brick wall. What do you do with that wall? You go around it, under it, over it, through it, whatever it takes to get through. Persistence, because you're patient with yourself in order to accomplish what you want. Number 3, end result. I'm in my 20s, I wanted a government job. Eventually I got it. In my 30s, I wanted to be a gang mower. Took a while. Eventually I got it, and I've been doing it for about 20 years now. And I wanted to live in an RV in my 40s. Took a while. They said I wasn't old enough. As with most things in life, you're not old enough. So I had to wait till I was old enough. And I want to retire. I got 6 more years to go. I'm not old enough. It's like all my life. It's like I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. It's called patience. It's frustrating. Yes, no one said it was never going to be frustrating. It's frustrating because it's called growing in personal growth. Can you remember when you were young and you were just getting your teeth in? How painful that was? Of course you don't, because you blocked out that pain. Do you remember the first time you were born and that doctor smacked you on the ass? That was your first pain. You actually had many before that, but those are your first pains, and you block them out. They come back later in life because it is your inner child. The archetype of Freudian theory and Carl Jung Psychology 101. Now, the archetype is the inner child of the emotional body of being. When you're emotionally immature, you are a child. That is your negative side of self. That is your shadow self. That is your inner child. You must let it come out to play, or it will create havoc in your life, which then bring negativity in your life, and you get a shitty attitude in your life. Do you understand? Now, you must give that inner child a purpose, just like any child. Give it a purpose. What direction must it go? You're giving it a game plan. From ingenious to genius. You see? This is why, excuse me, you are your own teacher. You are your own student. You are your own parent. You are your own everything. The sooner you learn this, and the sooner you can be just like me. I left home at 15. I am self-sufficient, independent, and strong. I don't need anyone. I'm a DIY kind of gal. What do I need people for? People get in the way of progress. 6 college degrees, 2 doctorate degrees. I have a Ph.D. and I'm working on my 3rd doctorate degree. 25 years in college, 16 certificates and diplomas, and I'm working on my 3rd doctorate degree and a Ph.D. My dual Ph.D. Why? Because this is what I was meant to do in life. Pick your game plan. Create your game plan. And you will then live a very prosperous and healthy life. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. All 4 quadrants in personality that create the core of being. The core is the soul. The soul is the teacher to the spirit that is the student. The spirit is the teacher to the human that is the student. It's not rocket science. It's logic. Today's sermon session Game plan, ingenious to genius. And life is love, love is life. Blessings from Reverend Lewis. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for your support.